Today, we're diving into one of the biggest educational shakeups happening anywhere in the world, India's National Education Policy 2020. And trust me, this isn't just a minor update, it's a total reimagining of how millions of people will learn, from their very first day of school all the way through college. But before we get into the details, let's start with a question that gets right to the heart of it. For so many of us, was education really about understanding things, or was it just about memorizing facts long enough to pass an exam? Well, that's the exact problem this new policy is trying to solve, aiming for a huge shift in what learning even means. So, what exactly is NEP 2020? Well, for starters, it's the first new education policy India has had in over 30 years, completely replacing the old one from 1986. You can think of it as a brand new blueprint for an education system that's way more flexible, well-rounded, and built for the modern world. So, how are they going to pull this off? Well, we're going to break it down into 4 key parts. We'll look at the new school structure, see what students will actually be learning, check out how exams in college are getting a major overhaul, and finally, we'll talk about the big picture vision for the future. All right, let's kick things off with the most obvious change, the one you can see right away. The entire structure of schooling is being redesigned from the ground up. For as long as most people can remember, Indian education has been all about that 10+2 model. Well, that's gone. In its place is this new 5+3+3+4 design. And this is so much more than just a name change. It completely reorganizes a child's learning journey to better match how they actually develop. So what do these numbers actually mean? Let's break it down. It all starts with the foundational stage for kids aged 3 to 8, where it's all about learning through play. Next up is the preparatory stage from 8 to 11, which focuses on discovery and hands-on experience. Then comes the middle stage, for ages 11 to 14, where you start getting subject-specific teachers and a big push for critical thinking. And finally, there's the secondary stage, for teens 14 to 18, which opens up a whole new world of flexibility and studying across different subjects. A new structure is a great start, but the real revolution is in what students are going to learn. Let's see how this policy is just tearing down the old walls. And this, right here, is a game changer. The policy officially gets rid of the hard lines between science, arts, and commerce, those streams that have defined Indian high school for generations. So what does this look like in real life? Well, imagine a student who's fascinated by physics but also loves music. Now, they can actually study both. Or someone who wants to combine a passion for history with a practical skill like coding. It's all about letting you follow your interests, not some predetermined path. And to make things even more practical, vocational training and even internships are going to start as early as the 6th grade. Now here's another huge shift, and it has to do with language. The policy is putting a strong emphasis on using a child's mother tongue or regional language for teaching, at least up until the 5th grade. And the idea here is really simple but powerful. Help kids truly understand the basic concepts before they have to tackle them in a different language. Okay, so if you're changing what and how students learn, it just makes sense that you have to change how you measure that learning, right? This next section is all about the big transformations coming to exams in college. The big idea here is to move away from those incredibly stressful, high-stakes final exams. Instead, the system is going to shift to a continuous evaluation model that's based on competency. What that means is more regular feedback and a focus on what skills you've actually mastered, not just what you can memorize. And a new national center called PARAC is being set up to make sure this new approach is consistent across the country. Higher education is also getting a whole lot more flexible. Students will now have multiple entry and exit points during their degrees. Think about it. You could earn a certificate after 1 year or a diploma after 2. And everything you accomplish gets stored in something called an academic bank of credits. It's like a digital locker for all your coursework that you can access and use later. Plus, they're introducing a 4-year undergrad degree that includes a research option. And the goal behind all this? Well, it is ambitious, to say the least. The policy is aiming to double the percentage of students enrolled in higher education, pushing it all the way up to 50% by the year 2035. That is a massive jump. But, a plan like this is only as good as the people who bring it to life, the teachers. The policy puts a huge focus on them. By 2030, the absolute minimum qualification for any teacher will be a 4-year integrated Bachelor of Education degree. This is all about raising the bar and ensuring a higher standard of educators in every single classroom. So when you put all of these pieces together, the new structure, the flexible curriculum, the changes to exams, What's the ultimate vision? What's the big idea driving all of this change? When you really boil it down, the whole policy is driven by a few powerful, connected ideas. It's about making education holistic and flexible, not rigid and one-size-fits-all. It's about building on a foundation of equity and inclusion, making sure every single student gets a fair shot. It's also about fully embracing technology to make learning better, and really, at the end of the day, it's about creating a culture where learning never stops. But if you had to capture the entire spirit of this thing in one sentence, this quote probably does it best. The goal is to create an education system that is deeply rooted in Indian values while preparing learners for global citizenship. It's all about striking that perfect balance. So there's no doubt that the National Education Policy 2020 is a bold, comprehensive roadmap for the future. The plans are all there on paper, the vision is crystal clear. But, of course, the real test is going to be in the execution. A new roadmap has been drawn, but the biggest question of all still remains. Where will this journey ultimately lead?